everybody. We are, hey, Jen.
Hello.
We're live. We're our first YouTube live for crying out loud.
We are.
We are. I'm excited. It's a different thing. I mean, I don't know what to expect in this in terms of, somebody is watching and types something, a message. I don't know how all that goes.
Well, we're going to find out, Christine.
We're gonna find out. So this week's show is all about prom and the nightmares and the dreams that may have come true. So I'm going to start with you, Jen. Did your dream come true for prom?
Oh God, no. Okay, but let's just be clear. Just to preface, I started drinking when I was 9.
That a girl.
Right. So by the time I was 16, I was really quite professional with my drinking, and I'd really mastered the form. And let's see, my grad, I just gotten out of the psych ward because I took a bunch of pills, and but nonetheless, it's full of laughs. A guy named Jeff asked me to go, probably out of mercy, pity, something like that. And so I agreed to go. My mom made a dress, and it was like, I was very inspired by Blanche Dubois because her lifestyle, mirrored mine. And it was flouncy, and, I'm kind of chesty. And so flouncy and flimsy and floral. And my mom made it though, God bless her. And so I was flouncing around pissed to the gills, which was not unusual. It was just another day for me in my life where I went into a bar and used fake ID and got drunk. But on this particular day, I went to grad, and I was there. Rumor has it. There are Polaroids. I don't know where they are, but I was there.
Wow. And with Jeff.
He walked me in there. I don't know what happened to him after that. Sometimes, I'll be in the produce aisle and I'll have a flashback.
Did he hold your hair back while you puked or anything like that? No good stories like that?
No, I don't remember throwing up particularly, but then it's all just one big stream of vomit at this point.
Right. Well, I mean, starting as a well, I'm just gonna. I'll get to me. But starting as a 9-year-old, with the drinking, it's like, you probably would have. You were pretty seasoned by that point, so you wouldn't have been like barfing, really.
No.
And did you start smoking at 9 too?
Yeah. I found some people. I might have been 8. I found some. Listen, and I have to say, in her defense, my mother was a very good woman. I have to say, it's just I grew up in Edmonton, and I don't know. It was just part of the curriculum. Smoking, drinking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Edmonton, Nanaimo. Although I don't think I started drinking at 9, but well, my grad story, like I lived in Nanaimo I did all my schooling there. I went to Rock City Elementary School. Yeah, school district number 69. Seriously. And then I went to Wellington Junior High, and then I went to NDSS, Nanaimo District Senior Secondary, up until grade 11. And then we moved in the summer between 11 and 12 to get this, North Battleford, Saskatchewan. Okay?
Right. Well, that's, yeah.
Yeah. No, Nanaimo is glamorous compared to North Battleford, Saskatchewan, right? And that's where, I went. I skipped out most of the year. I was really great at writing notes and stuff like that and faking my mother's signature. I did get to graduate, though my mother did not make my dress. We went to Saskatoon, the big city, to get my dress, and it was like a kind of like a peach color with lots of pleats.
Oh God!
And it was lots of pleats, and I don't have it anymore, thank God. And then I went with this guy who I met in school, and I liked him. First of all, he was kind of cute, but the thing I liked most about him was that he had a big old, kind of like a Buick-ish kind of car, right?
Right.
It was like, must have been a 60-ish model, like 1960s, and it had a square steering wheel. And it was like that, that and a set of fog lights will make my panties so moist.
Well, that makes it fuckable right there by North Battleford standards, right?
Yeah, right.
You gotta give it out.
So he took. I think I asked him to take me to prom. He's a dick. Like he was a fucking dick, and he was always kind of like But I put up with it, and I got drunk at prom and at grad or prom, whatever you want to call it, and yeah, that's no good stories. I think I must have had sex with him because that was what the glue that kept us together. That's all I really remember.
Do you remember your grad song? The song they played?
Oh God, Sail Away? I don't know. I don't know.
Because I remember mine, and I hear it.
What was it?
It was Diana Ross did that movie Mahogany, which was an absolute piece of shit with Billy D. Williams. But it said, "Do you know where you're going to?"
Going to.
La, la, la. I remember that. So yeah, great.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, those are our grad stories right now. Yeah. I can't wait to hear the others. But because we're going live for the first time, Jen and I aren't smart enough to do this on our own, right, Jen?
It's just, yeah.
Well, I mean, we're smart, but
between the glue and the alcohol, there's been some erosion.
I hear you. There ain't that many square steering wheels out there anymore. But I don't even know what that means. So we have two people who have helped us with this now. And it's, why don't you intro them, because they're the ones who've done all the work, put the title card up, the music, all that sort of stuff, and we wouldn't be here live without them.
Absolutely. They're young. And that is sorry, young people, I love you to death because you're my servants now. How's it going? Anyway, Emma Richmond and Zoe Peacock Jones are students at the New School in New York. It's a very fantastic school, and we're very lucky to have them. And Emma is a director and creative technologist who is currently working towards her BFA in dramatic arts from the New School in NYC. And let me find Zoe's. Zoe sent me 15 messages. So Zoe.
Listen, her name is Zoe Peacock Jones. That's fucking fantastic enough as it is, right? That's all you need to know about her.
I think I'm going to let Zoe introduce herself, and I'm going to help her.
Okay. So let's bring up Emma and Zoe.
Emma and Zoe.
There you go.
Oh,
hi. So Zoe, what's your focus there besides being the fabulous peacock? What's your intro there? Because we just did Emma's.
Yes,
so
we did.
What's Zoe?
Mine was essentially exactly the same thing. It's that I'm a creative technologist and an actress studying at the New School, pursuing her BFA. So really exactly the same, except for Emma directs and I don't direct.
There's still time.
You're right. There's still time. Maybe I will do that, but who knows?
So you guys, your proms are in your recent memory, correct?
Mm-hmm. I would, super too recent, I would say.
Right. Yeah. But these aren't horror stories that we're talking about, right?
No.
But Zoe, in your case, Zoe, in your case, you said that you went to a school that had only 30 kids.
Yeah, I think there was like 35 people in my graduating class, so super small, super fun. So the prom, we like rented out this one little room in a hotel in downtown Vancouver, and that was like all the space we needed. It's just this little banquet room in a hotel, and then the 30 of us just sat around one table, and we're like, "How are you doing?" Like, it's good. I don't know. And that was kind of it.
You all knew each other intimately by that point. Well, not intimately. Like
no. Well, I mean,
most of them.
It is the 2000s.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I think we definitely all knew each other really well, too well. It was I needed to get out of there. It was a
Right.
lot.
So, I mean, if you coupled with anybody in your 35 people school, it would be like almost like cousin sex, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But now,
school did you
Emma,
go
you
to,
have a
Zoe?
different story.
Sorry.
What school did you go to, Zoe?
Oh, Stratford Hall.
Stratford Hall. Okay, good. And you graduated not this past year, but the year before?
In 2018. So yes,
In 2018.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And now Emma, what were you going to ask Emma, Jen?
Emma, I know that Emma went to a big school in the suburbs of Boston, correct? And
Yeah,
she
I went to a
actually-
really big public high school.
Right. And Boston, you know, is right up there with Edmonton and North Battleford in terms of its, you know, lack of sobriety. So, but Emma actually remembers her grad and went to many grads, actually. Other than she horned in on a bunch of them before she got to her final grad. But Emma is also still with the guy that she went to grad with.
This is true. Yeah, we're still together.
And what's his name?
His name's Ian.
Ian. And he's a keeper.
Yeah, I mean, I have clearly decided that that is true.
But now, what year are you guys in your program?
It's kind of confusing because we're both transfer students. So like technically we should be third years, but we are second years. But Emma's kind of in between because they won't take our credits, which is super fun. So we're kind of like in this limbo space between second and third year.
Cool. And so we don't know if Ian's going to survive the ultimate graduation, but he's hanging in there for now.
That's true.
Good luck.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Wow.
That's so ominous.
Yeah, strap
awful?
yourselves in. It gets better. So now, should we bring on our first guest? Our first live guest?
Really
person?
should. We really should.
We should.
Or she'll get mad at us.
I will. I won't get mad at you.
Oh, I don't know.
That's the voice. That's the voice.
The
of
voice. Here
Liesl
comes. Here
Lafferty.
comes the face. My computer's a
Oh.
little bit old, so she's a little bit slow. But now I'm here. Now I'm with you. Hello.
Liesl Lafferty. Jen,
So-
why don't you introduce Liesl, the lovely Liesl?
I will. Liesl is someone I've known for a very long time. We didn't go to grad together, but may as well have. Liesl recently graduated from UBC with an MFA in creative writing and theater. She's a story editor, a dramaturge, a facilitator for the Wet Ink Collective and Real Wheels Theater. She practices conflict theater at UBC, and she is a Jessie Award-winning director. And she had time to come and be with us.
That's awesome.
Sounds so
Hi,
good on
Liesl.
paper. Hi.
So Liesl, tell us your grad story or your prom story. What happened?
So
Wasn't that the best time in your life?
It was the best time, Christine. You won't believe. I also got to go to many proms. We call them formals. And so in Ontario, we had grade 13. So my first one was when I was in grade 11. So I was 16 years old. And just so you know, I'm still a virgin at the end of this story. Okay, so none of that juicy stuff happened. Also, I was a fairly light drinker. We did like to puff a little black hash now and again back in the day. So I had a boyfriend, but it was fairly new. We had met doing high school sports. So we actually went to a different high school. So we were going to get to go to 2 proms. How fun. Not only that, one of my best friends at the time, Stephanie, was living at my mom's house. So me and my best friend were going to prom with my boyfriend and his best friend. What a great night,
Wow.
eh? All my dreams
Wow.
coming true. But a little side story, when I first got together with my boyfriend, I just had to tell the setup story. Before I started to date him, my friend and Cindy and I he had driven us home somewhere, and Cindy forgot her purse in his car, and she knew that I loved this guy. So she phones me one night and she says, Paul's on his way to your house right now. I forgot my purse in his car, and I BS'd him that your house was easier to get to than my house. She lived around the corner. So she was really setting me up like a superstar. And I had a full face mask on. right? So I was a teenager with the zit cream all over my face. And so I immediately washing up. So it's all red and blotchy. And, do I answer the door? Do I get my mom to answer the door? So I foolishly make the mistake of getting my mom to answer the door. And as I'm heading towards the door, I hear her say, "Oh, Paul, I've heard so much about you."
Oh, no.
No, I made a mistake real back that time. Anyway, so I have a picture of him here, so you can see that it all started, super, super shallow for me, because I just fell in love with the cute boy. Like, look at how cute he is,
He's
Paul.
Cute. He's
Not
so
helmet
cute.
head. It's nothing like helmet head.
Very thick hair, very cute boy. And my mom also made me my formal dress, which I loved. And even though Stephanie's not wearing the dress, she made Stephanie a long black one and the same pattern. So here's the four of us, me and my best friend, him and his best friend. And off we go.
Wow.
Off we go to the formal.
That's awesome.
My first formal, right? Oh, a night I'm never going to forget. All my dreams coming true. So I barely remember the actual formal itself because of what happens afterwards. So we're at the after party, and my friend Stephanie was not interested in her date. So they knew from the beginning that they were just friends. So he just drove her home at some point. But I'm at the after party and I'm partying with the friends, although mostly his friends. I'm pretty sure it was his formal. So I'm partying with his friends and at a house party. And before long, I noticed that I don't really see my boyfriend anywhere. So it's like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and he's nowhere to be found. So I'm left alone, abandoned at this party for like 3 hours. I'm there. And so at first I'm partying with everybody still, that's fine. And, like I said, not much of a drinker, so I'm not out of control or anything, but I'm sure I got a nice buzz on. And then everybody starts to pair off and go and do their own thing. So I'm actually alone at a stranger's house, abandoned. And I think it was Dawn, who was a sweetheart, his best friend, who saw me there. And I think he went out and found the guy. He had driven his ex-girlfriend home. He drove her home for 3 hours.
I bet he drove her home.
He drove her home. And so I'm sitting there smoking the cigarettes, maybe a little hash, and foolishly sitting, I put something out on the bottom of a plastic glass. Oh, and no. Sure enough, burns right through, burns a hole in my dress, which might as well have been this big as how it felt. But years later, I look at it, it's actually the head of a pin, but it really, really felt huge at the time. And so I guess the best friend went out and rallied him, and he came back and we went for a ride, and I'm sure I just continued to try to convince him to be my boyfriend, but he just was not interested. The poor guy had to probably listen to a 2-hour lecture. And then he dropped me off at my house at 7 a.m. I walked in my house, and just then my mom was walking out to, do some gardening. So I pass her in the doorway in the threshold. She's like, "Liesl, are you just getting home?" And I said, "Yeah." Huh. She didn't quite, it took her by surprise. She didn't know that I wasn't already in the house. But
you're hiding the hole.
I was hiding the hole. I was hiding the hole.
Liesl, where'd you get that hole in the dress?
That she made. It was horrible. But then I wore it again another year when this is my boyfriend at the time. He was a nice boyfriend. I don't have anything bad to say about him. But he was shorter than me, and I've got heels on. So this picture has a little perspective being taken. But I did wear the dress again to a couple more proms.
So did you? How did you fix the hole? How did you fix the hole?
No, well, it just felt like it was this big. It was actually tiny, like it was just a tiny dot. So it was really unnoticeable. So I just left it, but right there, front and center.
I wish I'd known you then, Liesl. I wish I had, because I was so used to being alone in somebody's house. And you just raid their liquor cabinet. It's easy peasy. You're looking for that alone time.
I wish. Well, it sort of set up a pattern. I also, the day I won my Jessie, I got dumped.
Ooh.
Day of.
No.
Called up in the afternoon. I'm not coming tonight.
Wow.
Who was that asshole? I forget.
You know him, Jeff. What's his name?
Oh, fuck him.
I know. I used to call it lose a Jeff, win a Jessie day.
What's the Jeff period?
But I'm happy to say, by the time I finally met the love of my life, it conveniently, coincidentally enough, he also was left at his prom. So he got dumped at his prom too. One of the many things
Wow.
we have in common.
So when you make love, you just cry, like the both of you, and then I was there by myself. Oh God. Well, that is absolutely fascinating and very sad. Now, why don't we bring on our next guest, because to build our prom train here. Jen, again, like I don't know this next guest, so I think it's apropos that you intro our next guest. And Liesl's sticking around.
She is.
Excellent.
Jethelo, are you ready?
I am.
Our next guest is Jethelo Cabaletti, and he is a fantastic, beautifully organized, compassionate stage manager. And he has been for a very long time. And of course, as he works in the theater, things really suck right now.
Uh-huh.
So he had some great contracts that he's not doing. So we're hoping that the world finds a new normal, and Jethelo will be back doing what he loves.
And I have to say, like right now in this particular Zoom, I'm feeling kind of outnumbered here. Like weren't there any other guys who were gonna tell their prom stories? I mean, come on.
Guys are dicks, Jethelo.
Yeah, no, we, you know what, we usually have more women than men, it's just kind of one of those things. So yeah, I feel honored, my friend, to
I
be
mean,
here.
come on, the guys should be telling their stories too.
They should be, but we're still working through some patriarchal problems, right? So there's a basic problem. It's either you either fuck women, or you get them to fuck off, or you kill them. There's three approaches to women.
Well, I mean, the thing is, for those of us who are gay or bi, it's also either your close friends or your competition.
Right.
Yeah. So Jethelo, what's your grad story, your prom story? What happened? Did you go with who'd you go with?
My prom story is actually not a nightmare or a dream come true. It's more like a hilarious romp through like high school. So I graduated in 1987, and I grew up in St. John, New Brunswick, in the Maritimes. So back then, there was a whole bunch of us who were like the outsiders of the whole school. So we didn't really fit into any clique. Like we were the theater kids, we were the computer nerds, we were the gamers and everything else. And I remember about a week before our actual prom, there was a bit of a holiday. So my family went to New York, and my dad got me a whole complete like tuxedo set. Like, the jacket, the pants, the cummerbund, the whole thing that I would wear to my graduation and also wear to my prom. So when we got back, and like there's that week where classes are done, exams are done, but people are still kind of hanging around and stuff, I ran into one of my close friends, Andrea. Now, Andrea, unfortunately, had the misfortune to hook up with this guy who got her pregnant.
Oh.
So by the time we were like graduating and it was prom, that thing, she was about 2 months pregnant.
Oh, so just a little.
3 months pregnant, and the guy dumped her, like totally. Like after that was kind of like whatever, but she took it in stride. And my friend Andrea, bless her, like she was kind of like the Madonna, Cyndi Lauper, kind of like that type, like who gives us shit kind of attitude, smart, good personality. Like she and I like
bad with condoms.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was the 80s too, like it was kind of like the yay. And anyway, so we ran into each other in the hallway, and we were just talking, and then I looked at her and said, "So are you going to are you going to the prom?" And she was like, "Yeah, I think I will." She was like, "Ah, fuck him, whatever. Like, I'm gonna go to the prom." And she's like, "Well, what about you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about it too." So, do you have a date? She's like, "No." "How about you?" "Nah." So we looked at each other and kind of, you know what? If we don't find anybody,
Right.
Light bulb.
by the time we get to actual prom, do you want to go together? And we're both like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And so our prom was at the newly built, like there was a convention center there in downtown St. John, and it was a dry grad. But even though it was a dry grad, we knew that everyone was sneaking in booze or whatever. So we
It's
get
St.
there. We
John's,
both
right?
showed up. Yeah. So we showed up on the night of the prom. I'm dressed in my tux, and she's dressed in this like really tight,
Smock.
beautiful gown, but like she's got a baby bump. And we met outside, and everyone else is were there with their girlfriends, boyfriends, or their beau and lady du jour. And we just kind of looked around and like seeing friends and everything else. And we looked at each other and went, so did you find anybody? Nope. How about you? Nope. Great. So we just went arm in arm and we walked in as a couple. People kind of gave us some looks, but everybody knew that I wasn't the father of, her to be baby. And also at that time, I wasn't really socially publicly out, but it didn't really matter. So, people were just kind of like having fun anyway. But we pretty much spent the whole night like just dancing and socializing with, all our friends. Some people shied away from her because, she was pregnant and everything else. But the rest of us who knew her were like, yeah, screw you guys. And we just had fun. We had such a great time just having fun.
Right.
And, and of course, the funny thing is like, the music of the 80s was so rocking and jumping and dancing. But because she was pregnant, like she couldn't really like quite cut the rug like she used to do.
Right.
But that was okay. And of course, like slow dancing with her was a little awkward just because it was just like, you have to get this bump between you. But
I gotta tell you something, Jethelo. I'm just gonna interrupt you here for a second. Don't lose your train of thought. I think she was more than 2 months pregnant, but because 2 months pregnant, it's a shrimp in the like it's this big, right?
She was also she was also very petite. Like she was a very petite woman,
Okay.
And that's why I say like maybe 2, maybe 3 months, because like it was a pretty good bump, but it wasn't like she was full on, but
it wasn't like there was a foot hanging out.
No, it wasn't like she was already giving birth right there on the dance floor. But
so what happened now with the baby? Have you kept in touch with her?
I kind of lost touch after a couple of years, but the funny thing is I went back home one year. This is like after I'd been in university for a while, and I just decided to go to one of the colleges to visit another old friend of mine. And then as I was leaving, this beautiful woman like is coming from the opposite direction, and then we kind of looked at each other and just kind of, and then she went, Jethelo? And I went, oh, Andrea. And so we kind of like, hugged and everything. I was like, oh, yeah, how's it going? So she had a son. By the time I met her again, he was already like in his teens. So she was a single mom, nothing to do with the dad at all, that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I the funny thing is after I got this call from you, Jen, about the prom thing, I actually started thinking, well, I wonder if I can find her on Facebook, but I don't remember her last name. So I'll just talk to my other like high school friends and say, hey, do you remember Andrea? Because it was such a we were just such good friends, but just after like high school and then life and everything else, like just lost touch. But yeah, that was my prom. Like we ended up just I went to see her off in a cab. I made sure that she got home, and then I went home, and that was just it. Like it was just like a fun it was just a fun evening, like with friends.
Where you smashed the patriarchy.
Well, that's the funny thing is because like I didn't give a shit that she was pregnant, because like, hey, she was my best buddy, and I felt shitty for her because like her, the guy that she was dating, like, got her pregnant and then got so embarrassed and everything else that he just didn't go to the prom with her at all either. So it was just like, oh, you're an asshole. But
did he go to prom by himself?
No, he went with another woman.
Oh my God.
Wow.
He was out with his square steering wheel driving.
Yeah, the square steering and all that stuff, and he ignoring. Oh yeah, the ex-girlfriend. No, I don't know who. I don't remember who he went with because I didn't really care, but it was one of those just surreal moments of like, yeah, my prom date was my pregnant good friend.
Nice. Well,
It was
great.
so awesome, though.
Thank you. I'm glad that you have people in your high school that you can get in touch with to see if they remember someone. I'm on Facebook, so in case anyone remembers me, because I don't remember what I was doing, so I want them to tell me.
Excellent. Well, we should bring up our next guest. Jethelo is sticking around with Liesl as well, and so our next guest is grew up on the West Coast here in Lund, BC, and is now living in Toronto. She's been doing stand-up comedy for, I would say, over 30 years.
Yep.
She is the head of the comedy department for the Firecracker conglomerate.
She's head of
group. Huh?
Yeah. Head of Firecracker comedy department.
Head of Firecracker comedy department. She's also the comedian resident at Gilda's Club in Toronto. Let's bring on Anna Gustafson. Anna Gustafson.
I'm making an entrance, so I've been
I'm
so stoked. Okay, ready? Should I have music?
Ready.
Okay.
Anna.
Oh, here it gets better. It gets better.
The wings.
The hair.
The dress. Woo, it's not done up in the back.
Oh, you wore the dress.
I got the dress. Well, as on as I could get it. It's not done up.
You got the dress on.
Hi, you guys.
Oh my God. Hi. Now, did your mom make your dress too?
Not my mom, my grandma. My mom's mom.
Ooh.
Yeah, and
I
ripped a page out of Cosmopolitan, one of my big sister's Cosmopolitans, and gave the picture to my grandma, and she cut a pattern out of like old bed sheets. So, and we were really late getting the material to make the dress because it was fancy material, and we had to go to the city to get it. And I didn't see my dress until I put it on to go into town to go to grad. So
wow.
Wow. Big trust.
So grandma put in a lot of work here.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, don't mean to insult, but it kind of looks like a wedding dress. So did grandma
exactly
think, I'm only gonna make one fucking dress?
Oh no, it was a wedding issue. It was a wedding issue of Cosmo. I had plans. I had actually I could
get her out of high school, get her married.
Line up my hair. I did have a plan. That was it. There was this schmangy little store in Powell River, which was the big town next to us, called, well, it wasn't schmangy, it was a fabric store, and it was called Calico Corner. So my mom and I went into Calico Corner with the same piece of paper and asked the nice lady, and she said she could get us the material, which is very fancy, and then she didn't. She's like, oh no, it was too difficult. So when Mom and I finally went in to go get this material, the lady kind of blew it off and like, oh yeah, didn't let us know. So my mom, the next morning, she grabbed me and we got up and we went on the Greyhound bus or Pacific Coach Lines, I guess it's called, to the city. And we took the first bus in, we walked around Granville Street to all the nice fabric stores, bought some fabric this is 1983. I think it was like $250 or something. It was a big deal, but she was committed. And we got back on the same bus on the same day and made it back up to Powell River. Grandma made the dress in the last minute and it happened.
I'm telling you something, and this is like a life lesson for everybody, okay? The women who work in fabric stores are bitches.
Yes.
Like they are so unhappy. They're just like, you know, you ask for something like, oh, excuse me, where are the what? You know,
Yeah,
they're just
no.
like, where are the bobbins? I don't know. You don't know what a bobbin is? Like, they're terrible. No wonder, like, she didn't give a shit about
She
your
did not give a shit. It was a
No.
shitty thing to do in a small town. That's not good for business.
But maybe she's
No,
moved to Jethelo, because what Christine's talking about is current now at Jethelo.
She doesn't, I don't think she lasted long. Calico
I
Corner
don't know
shut
if it's
down late
I don't
80s.
know if it's the fiber dust in the air, you know, that just makes them turn salty. Like they're just like nah, you know. It's like Jesus, you know.
I think she thought she was like a super duper fashion designer, and she was a little bit too good to order material or something, or she just wanted us to buy some shit that was local, which was like, no, I'm not wearing a red and black checked grad dress, sorry.
Or maybe she got dumped at her grad.
I don't care. It was my day. It was my day.
So
So
Anna,
I think the investment was good, because I think I had convinced my mom that I was going to marry my boyfriend of that day. My fellow.
yeah.
Mm.
So
Okay.
so what happened at your grad, like at your prom or whatever? Like, did you?
I was more comfortable than this. Did you guys have to ask? I meant to ask this. Did the girls have to ask the boys in your graduations for the boy dates? Because
No.
it was.
I think I did.
Did you? I think the rule was that the girls had to ask the boys, and my
Oh,
boyfriend,
that's weird.
I had a fancy boyfriend with a car and had graduated, so I didn't have anybody in the student body to ask. What you going to say something, Jen?
Well, I'm from Edmonton, but it's not like we were on Bumble. I mean, holy shit.
Did
No.
you ask the boys, or did the boys ask
No,
you?
well, I mean,
Oh,
in
you
their,
don't-
interpretive gestures, like throw a hockey puck at your head. Like, yeah, the guys, or basically just rub up against your ass in school. So, yeah, grinder in the hallway.
Yeah, it was actual
things
physical
never
grinding.
change.
Oh my God.
So you had to ask somebody, Anna.
Yeah, so the trick was that we had a lot of time to select our dates before grad night, and somebody gave me some fake news about being able to invite outsiders, meaning my older boyfriend with a car, which I thought would be sweet because he could dress up and I could wear my wedding dress and take it for a test drive, and then very last minute somebody told me that was bad information and I had to find someone to go with. So, and I was a really shy kid in school, but there was a list of boys that hadn't been chosen yet.
No.
Oh my God.
And it was a list that they passed around. So it was like a printed list.
God.
And then you'd pick one and you'd scribble them off. So it was a hot list. And luckily, I think what had happened, my brother-in-law's cousin, he was away at hockey camp or something. I don't know, but he was on the list. I was like, I want that one, because that was the only person I knew. And his name is Paul Parsley. Hi, Paul Parsley. Had red hair like this is his hair color.
Wow.
Paul Parsley went to there was a big after grad party or before grad party up the lake, and he's a redhead, so he got like ripping drunk and sunburned. So he's like orange, red, and he had like a big like third-degree burn on his nose because they were out on the water.
Oh,
So he was
geez.
just like he was bright, and yeah, I'll show you. I have a picture. My mom wasn't the best photographer in the world, but she had a heart. I got a photo collage. This is us from the back.
Oh, the back. We see the back of their heads.
Yeah, that's my mom's picture.
Oh,
See the bun?
Wow.
With the baby's breath tucked in and the
Classic.
the tendrils. Everybody, it had to be that hair. Yeah, that's Paul Parsley. I have a picture from the front, but I don't want to.
You don't want
Paul
to see it.
Parsley.
I
Oh
haven't
my
seen him since
God.
Good handle, eh? Like I picked him out of the best name for sure.
Anna,
Yeah.
do you remember your grad song?
Yes, it was, and I have a lot of thoughts about that. It was "Never Give Up on a Dream" by Rod Stewart, and that's why I'm doing stand-up comedy in Canada in my 50s. Perfect. It's his fault.
Never
Look.
give up on a dream.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now that you mention it, I mean, our grad songs, they are kind of foretelling. Do you know where you're going to? Pretty much
No,
the theme
not
of
in a
my life.
drunk.
No. Do you remember yours, Liesl?
Yeah, I don't really remember a specific song. No, I barely remember the parties and the dinners themselves. I did love dancing, and so I'm sure I was cutting a rug. But mid '80s.
Did you guys have a grad, like official fancy dress grad, and then a after party that went into the, like really late and overnight almost? Did you do that?
We didn't. What we had the fancy grad, but the weekend before the actual grad or prom ceremony, we had a beach day, all of us who graduated. And I have to tell you, back then in the late 80s, the high school I went to, our class was the largest. We had 400 students graduating. Back then, that
Whoa.
was huge. That was huge for us. But we had a beach day. We went to, I think, New River Beach in New Brunswick, the whole class. Like they had two or three school buses, and we spent like the whole day, all of us.
You got a
at the
ride?
beach. We had to ride. We had. They also had a barbecue for us.
So fun.
We had to
Right?
pile in
Wow.
Volkswagen vans and
But
Yeah.
now, Jethelo, is grad tux to the beach or?
grad
Sorry?
chucks at the beach.
No. We were, we could wear swim shorts, t-shirts, that whole thing, at the beach party. But then, like the actual prom was like a week later at the convention center, and it was all very formal. And I think, definitely guys seem to have it easier during this time of our lives because, unless you're like nowadays, when you're gay or you're very fashion conscious, sometimes some guys like make their own, clothes too. But I know the women, a lot of them were like, oh yeah, I got it from the Cosmo, or my mom pulled out her old wedding dress and tore it apart and, did this. So definitely for guys, it was easier to kind of get some kind of prom clothing.
Right.
And a lot of the women
Yes,
I know, like, either somebody made their dress or they made it themselves or special ordered it and that kind of stuff. Because there was a lot of like gowns and stuff that were like, whoa, where'd you get that?
But our
Yeah.
moms
Kind of
were
thing.
trying to market us for marriage. It was a trouble.
That's true. That's true.
Well, my ex told me that when he went to his grad, he rented a band leader's costume, like, with the almost like,
Wow.
the one with the, he had a big hat on, like the thing. And then with the,
Yeah.
I don't know what, his pants had a big stripe down, like it's white and red or something. And it was just because he thought, fuck you, you guys in your tuxes. I thought that was pretty funny.
There was one limousine in my hometown that was big white stretch limousine that was for the one sort of fancy restaurant called the Viva, and the Viva had a limo, and so one person could rent the limo for grad, and the guy that rented it, so the guy that rented it, then he waited until the very last minute to drive up to the complex, where the ceremony was, which is the hockey arena. They just melted the ice to have grad. And then people that weren't sitting at the dining table, like my nieces and nephews, got to sit in the bleachers and watch my grad like it was a game. But this guy drove up in a
ooh, you suck, Anna.
Anything for an event, right?
He had a white tuxedo, like full whites, white shoes, white hat.
Wow.
Kane, I think, got out of the limo and just sauntered in. It was the best. I can't remember who it was. I remember his nickname, but it wasn't. I can't say it now because it's just wrong.
I don't remember any limos, but
By the time we were in grade 13, we were all 18-year-olds for my final formal. The thing was everybody got hotel rooms. So I guess you had to pretend that you were getting them with the girlfriends, and then you stayed there with the boyfriends or whatever. But I must say, Anna's story and the sunburn did remind me of my last grad stories. I got one more picture there for you. There's Gerald. It was just
bless.
a weekend date.
Oh, wow.
Such a beautiful dress. And what a great tan. But the unfortunate thing was I had been tanning in a tanning bed. And the night before, I had some sort of allergic reaction. And
Oh, no.
my whole skin looked normal, but it was very prickly, very, very bad. I did not sleep 1 minute, not one wink the
Oh.
night before the grad. So I was all exhausted going
Should have gone
to
with
the
Paul
party.
Parsley.
Yeah,
Paul Parsley would have
exactly,
been perfect.
exactly. We both had sunburn stories, exactly.
Poor guy. I hope he's okay. It's been a long time since I've seen him. That was a pretty bad burn. He's suffering
Oh,
from
dear.
Well,
breast cancer or something.
looks like we all survived our proms, you know,
Yeah.
like it's yeah, whew.
Survived. I learned important life lessons about vanity and wanting a cute boyfriend and thinking I could talk somebody into being my date and stuff. Like it was a valuable night for me. And
Can you imagine if we go ahead?
Well, just like I said, a night I'll never forget, but for the opposite reason as I originally thought. I thought it was going to be a dream.
Yeah,
For me, it's a night I'll never remember.
We snuck, we did the big thing where you get a watermelon, you inject it full of vodka.
Oh,
And you
geez.
smuggle it in the drums in the band. So the band was like, yeah, bring the whole drum kit, and we were putting our booze in and we didn't think to buy like Mickey's or anything like that. We like injected it into a watermelon so it could be in case we got busted. Bring it in. Oh no, we're just bringing a giant slushy watermelon with holes in it. We're good.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Holy
Well,
crap.
thanks so much, guys, for hanging out with us for our very first live for Crying Out Loud. It was fun.
You're
I don't know if
welcome.
anybody tuned in, but you know, it was an experience, and great
like
hearing
grad.
all the prom stories. What's that?
Just like grad.
Like grad, yeah. Can you imagine
I
if we had to do that these days? Ask our guy, have a list of guys who are,
Oh my God, it's like a lottery.
It's like Tinder now. That's what that is. That's just
yeah, exactly.
freaking. What do you call it?
Well, thanks. Anybody? Anything else want to add there, Jen? Before we say goodbye?
Closing thoughts. I just want an extra big thank you to Emma Richmond and Zoe Peacock Jones, who have helped us put this show together. They're awesome, and we totally appreciate it. And thank you to our guests, Liesl Lafferty, Anna Gustafson, Jethelo Cavaletti, and as always, thank you, Christine.
Oh, thank you, Jen. We'll see you next
Thanks,
week.
gang.
Thanks.
Let's do it again.
Bye.
Bye.